Hey YouTube, just a quick opinion on the NRA. I'm a big supporter of the NRA. I think they do a lot of good work. Sometimes politically they do things that are kind of on the edge of my thoughts of what I would think would be appropriate. But for the most part, I'd say 95+% of the time I'm with them. Recently, though, there's been a lot of ads, and they have a really large ad campaign, especially online. I have heard that they're also on radio and on TV. I don't particularly watch TV, and I will listen to very little bit of very small amount of radio these days. So I'd say 95% of my information comes from the internet at this point, and I have personally witnessed many of their ads, and I like them all. I think they're great. So I just didn't know about your thoughts if you've been watching those ads from the NRA, calling out Hillary, calling out Obama, calling out all this gun control measure and this idiotic crap that's been going on, that are totally unconstitutional. It's like, well, we're going to make you safe by making you less free, and we're going to take things from you like liberties and personal properties, and we're also going to tell you, like in the past, remember with the whole Obamacare, we're just going to tell you and force you to buy a product, and you don't have a choice. And if you just don't do it, there'd be a tax, penalty, and you'll have to pay a fee. And it's just such a bullshit. You could tell that the insurance companies totally was in bed with the law writers, and they just wrote it together. If not, the insurance company just wrote the whole damn law itself. And this is what we're also seeing, though, with this whole gun control thing. You got these radical people in office that think that, and some of them generally think that it's safer not to have guns. But, of course, they're surrounded by guns with their bodyguards and Secret Service and bullshit like that. These are the most ignorant people, but I think most of them know better, and they just do this on purpose because they have agenda. The agenda is not American, and once again, American has fallen, and we've known this. People that are in the know this. America has not existed in its original format for probably a little over 100 years. Seriously, ever since the central banks, the Federal Reserve, which is not even federal, it's not even part of the federal government, but they make up and they control the monetary policies of the United States. Just incredible. This Federal Reserve is made up of a collection of central banks. Most of them are based and operated and owned in Europe. It's just like unbelievable. We have been conquered from within, and so the NRA stands up to this shit and it tries to protect our constitutional rights, or to some people's ideologies, their God-given rights, which is fine with me, and I support that. What I don't support is a bunch of, liberal-minded, crap-shooting, idiots that want to be less free. I don't understand this. Criminals do not go along with gun control. They don't register their guns. They're not going to surrender their arms. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to obey laws. So why are you going to put more laws to restrict law-abiding citizens if the criminals, by their very nature and definition, don't abide by laws? That's because they're not directed toward criminals, because they don't want us, the people, to have firearms or to have liberties or rights, because those people in power, those elite, those people who run the show, and use the president as a puppet, have a different agenda. And the outward image looks like, oh, it's for our safety, but it's so much not when you look past the veil. When you look beyond the veil and you see the puppet master, you see that it's all about getting them more control and more power, and keeping and suppressing the people so they can have a lot less of a difficult time managing all of us. There's a lot of us running around. Most of us are not threats to the elite because we're either too ignorant or we just don't have anything that can actually pose a threat to them. But there are some of us who are outspoken. Some of us actually who do expose them, and we are a danger to them. And with that, you have to be careful, because they will come and they will snuff you out, especially if you do things that really don't jive with them. Like, for example, doctors who reverse autism, from kids who get vaccines, and it goes on and on, exposing more of the GMO agenda, the fluoride in the water. Maybe it's exposing the monetary policies like we were just talking about. You talk about things a little too far, you may not have a YouTube channel anymore. You may not have, some of your liberties. You might just go to jail for unknown reasons. You might be just snuffed out. Especially if you hang around Hillary Clinton and you try to expose her, you'll just end up in a body bag. So with that, guys, I hope you're all well. Guys, take care. Catch you real soon.